Um, Today is going to be significantly different from prior days in that Stephanie Larison was not available for this sprint to review. And so Joy Perrin and I are going to attempt to be your product owners this go around. We learned some lessons, I think, from the last go around, where we're going to go ahead and take a look at the tickets in JIRA to see what we're clearing and to describe what we can't clear and what we need to do. I believe I also forgot to send out the reminder, so it's going to be a small group today. So, anyway, with all of that in mind, we're going to go ahead and get started. And so, what we're going to do is again, we'd appreciate it if you guys could hold all your questions until the very, very end of the session. And Gad is going to show the work that has occurred, and Joy and I'll kind of talk through Gad what he did, and Joy and I'll kind of give it a thumbs up, thumbs down. And then from that, we'll either move the tickets to done, or we will keep them in progress, I suppose. So, Gad, would you like to give it a shot?
Sure. This sprint, we were able to complete VIR 202 and VIR 176, 214, and 142 are still in progress. We were not able to merge those in this morning, but we have very high confidence that we can do so in the next couple of days or so. VIR 202 is the story that deals with handling errors from the back end to the front end. Previously, we had shown that we could send messages to the front end from the back end about validation being incorrect, and they were just showing up in the developer console in the browser. But now they're no longer in just the developer console. There's actual messages that pop up on the screen with errors that are pertinent to whatever the user might be doing at that time. That being said, the stuff that we did not merge in today is the 176 and 142. Like I mentioned, it's like 4,600 lines of code that was changed, and there's a lot of commits. It was mostly James and Jeremy and Simon and William, it looks like. So we will be working together to get that merged in the next couple of days. And hopefully we'll be able to start showing the workflow steps and the field profiles and all that good stuff for the dynamic workflows for Vireo 4. All that being said, I will go ahead and just show VIR 202 real quick. You can see the developer console is just open down here at the bottom just to show it, but no error messages should go on there. And to show the error, I'm going to go ahead and try to make the submission semester blank, and it's going to come back with an error saying that the value cannot be empty. Same thing with the degree granting school. If you try to set it to something blank, it doesn't work. Then if you just toggle anything else, it'll refresh to the stored values that are still in the database. That will be automatically done in the next sprint with VIR 203, I believe is the next story that actually implements the what we call the shadow directive, which allows us to, if there's an error, to put the previous value back in the box. So with those, I will also show, I think email templates is a good one, that we have validation inside of these modals as well. If I try to just create a email template with no name, no subject, no message body, we get an error down here at the bottom that says all these things can't be empty. So it validates the form before it makes it go away. Same thing when you're editing something. This mouse is bad. So if I go in here and I start changing something for this system email template and I press save, what comes back is the warning message that says the system email template cannot be edited. A custom user copy has been made. And you can see that the advisory review request, there's the global one, and then there's the custom one. And the custom one has the text I put in there. And pretty much all the fields and all the input for a user is now validated in a similar way. Colors have to be valid hex colors, and they can be reset to their previous values and all that. And then there's also, if you try to delete something that you're not supposed to be able to delete, you will get an error message that says, oh, you can't remove this category, it's being used. So we have all sorts of error messages, all sorts of validation. The user will not be blind when it comes to getting feedback for whatever it is that they're doing. Oops, I pressed back. So that being said, that is VIR 202.
Okay, so Joy, what we'd like to do is get your thumbs up, thumbs down on whether the story was complete, which is you'd get error handling from controller invalid data. And so what we're talking about here, we can take a look at the description. We needed to create a way to handle any exceptions thrown and reporting the errors back as an API response with an error warning info object in it, such as those red boxes or the yellow box we saw in the one instance. Joy, do you think that matches the story?
I do.
Okay. So I guess with that, we can move that to done.
Yeah, so I'm going to leave this in testing for now because it does have one automated test that is failing. But I will go ahead and move that to done in the next day or so when I fix that test.
That sounds fair to me.
Yeah. And that being said, the rest of the backlog is still here. And we have our work cut out for us for the rest of the application.
Okay.
Once we finish up this sprint 10 and merging all the stories, we'll have a sprint planning meeting for the next sprint to figure out what stories we're going to tackle for the next sprint. More than likely, I think it's going to be VIR 203, which is the front-end cosmetics for the API responses to make all those errors look nicer. And finish up the workflow steps and the field profiles and all that, and hopefully get started with the list of submissions on the back end, where they are right here, which we don't have right now.
Okay.
Again, I just want to throw something out there.
Yeah.
Just an observation that kind of a bonus, I suppose, but the work that was done on this validation has been demonstrated on the forms and input fields that we have coded so far, but the same work will be able to be leveraged without change across the application moving forward on, like, the student side submission and, like, basically throughout the application. So it's a bigger win than just the validation that we see right here. Just wanted to point that out.
Thank you, Jeremy. And yeah, that's absolutely correct. The validation work that we've been doing is all reusable. So that error messages coming from the server to the web interface will all behave the same and can use the same code without us having to reinvent the wheel all over the place.
That's optimal. I'm with all the work, 4,600 lines of code that were worked upon. I know you guys are making progress. Next time, hopefully we'll be able to look at that. Speaking of next time, I'm not sure when next time is. We have an issue in that the next 2 weeks from now on Wednesday, Texas Digital Library is hosting the Texas Conference on Digital Libraries. And Stephanie, Joy, Gad, James, me, I mean, everyone's going to be at that. So we'll send out some messaging about what we're planning to do and when or if we're going to demo. Because we also need to set that against Gad and I will be traveling together in June around the 15th. So we need to figure out, make sure we're not colliding into all of those dates. But we will continue to make progress and continue having public demos one way or another. Does anybody have any questions before we wrap up this demo? I think that was the small point, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Joy, thank you so much for your participation, and Billy and Ashley, thanks so much for attending today, and we will talk to everybody again and the UT folks who are in the room who I am not acknowledging. Hello, UT folks. Thanks so much, everybody.
Thank you, guys. We'll talk again in a couple of weeks.